right, what have we got? Okay, let's line you up. Beautiful. Right, so somebody sent me a message on Instagram into my DMs asking me, Billy, what is it that you do to your pictures? Do you use any software? Is it all done on your phone? Do you use Photoshop, etc, etc? I'm going to show you what I do to make my pictures look the way they are. It's no big secret, it's readily available, and I pretty much think it's free, the software that I use. So I'll show you the initial capture, what I do to the image itself, which is I kind of apply this same thing to most of my images, and what I do on Instagram to the images before I upload them. Alright, let's go and have a look. Okay, so I've just set up my bike. This is where I park it around the back of my work there, so I'm just going to take a simple shot of it. You could just do it directly on like that, or what you can do is just go for a little bit more drama and get something in the foreground, which is what I've done here. So just get something in the front of the lens, just like whatever it is, a car or a lamppost, some twigs or leaves in this case, and you will see it just gives your image a little bit more drama and a little bit more you know, a little bit of deepness and depth to it. And that's it. Let's have a look. Alright, so first thing I do is I open up Snapseed and I go to open and I find the picture that we just took, which is, whoops, there. First thing I notice about this is the horizon is a little bit off. It's a little bit tilting down to the left there. So I'll go into Tools, Rotate, and I'll just tilt that. It gives you a grid reference, so it makes your life a lot easier. It doesn't leave it down to guesswork. And that is good. Okay, next thing I do, back into Tools, Tune Image. I'll go right to the top. This is the whole list of tools that it gives you in the Tune Image section. And first one is brightness. I tend to like to have my pictures quite bright and quite crisp, so I'm just going to boost it up, give it about 30. There you go. And underneath that is contrast. Again, if you're not sure, just whack it either way. You know, that's one of the easiest things you could do. If you're not too sure about the effect it will give you, just whack it one way or the other. Obviously you don't want to push it too much, so I'm just going to go about 20. That should do the trick. And underneath that, saturation. I'm not going to muck about too much with the colors. Maybe warm it up a tad, because there's nice greens and browns in that bush there. So we'll keep that at 11. And ambience. Again, if you're not sure, just whack it all the way up, all the way down, just to see. And I think for this instance, I don't think I need it, so I'm going to keep that at 0. And underneath ambience, you've got highlights. Again, you just want to be a little bit careful. If you push it too much, the subject matter might look better, but at the expense of the background. So if I whack it right up, the bike still looks okay, but the background is pretty much bleached out. So we want to bring that right down, round to about there. I think is good. Okay, and underneath highlights you have shadows. Again, the same principle applies. You don't want to boost it too much, or else you're going to lose details. So I want to see the little bit of the engine on the bike there, so I'm going to bring that up just a tad. So it's gone from that to that. I'm happy with that. Shadows, underneath shadows is warmth. Again, there's enough warmth in the picture as it is, so if you wanted to, you could add a little bit, make it look a little bit more sort of sepia or autumnal. But for me, I want it to look a little bit cold and wintry, but still have a bit of colour in it. So I'm going to leave the warmth at 0, and I'm happy with that. Where is it? Okay, that'll do. Alright, so once we're happy with that, we just hit the tick and we go to export and save a copy, because we want to compare with the original raw file and this saved one. Okay, the next app I would go into, depending if the picture needs it or not, I think this one doesn't, but we're going to go into it anyway and have a look, is lens distortion. So let's open up the one we've just been working on. There it is, looks very nice. And Yeah, I mean, usually what I would do is, depending on what sort of day it is, if it's a summer day and it's bright and there's lots of shadows and it's warm, I would add an extra bit of heat into it by hitting that, bringing it right down and just putting it somewhere in the top there, just to sort of indicate a sort of, you know, a passage of light. But really, because this day is bleak, it's cold, it doesn't need it. As a matter of fact, it takes away from the image. You could even go a sort of colder one as well, but I mean, it looks okay, but again, I don't think this image needs it. Another thing that I usually do on here is, let's go right to shimmer. Sometimes you can add, like, let's see, just little particles. You see these little kind of dust particles, or like as if you've got something on your lens. It adds that little bit of depth to it, but I don't think, again, in this case it needs it, because there's a lot going on as it is, and I don't want to sort of drown the image in too many little bits and bobs. So we're going to delete that. See you later, and we're back to square one anyway. So I'm happy with what it is, but this is a really good app, lens distortion. It gives you like silly things like fog, you know, so it looks like that, but I've never used that sort of effect, but it's there should you want to. It's a very powerful app, and there's tons and tons of options. The rain one is quite good. Again, little particles like that you can see. I mean, it gets a little bit silly where it kind of, you know, okay, there's like an avalanche happening here. But we don't need that, so we're going to take that off, and that is kind of it. But one more thing I might do to this image, so let's close that down, exit without saving, yes please, is let's go back to Snapseed. We want to open up the one we've worked on, which is where are we now? Is it this one? Yeah, that's the one we worked on. No, it's not. That's the one we worked on. All right, we're back in business. Okay, so we're going to tools, and I like a bit of I mean, 90% of this stuff I do not use. I use the tune image, the crop, and a bit of vignette, and I'll show you that now. It just brings down the focal point of the image, so you can use that as your sort of focal point, and it just darkens down the image around it, or it lightens it depending on what you want to do. And I think it's quite a nice, it gives it a bit more impact. So I drive it down to about, let's got no too far, around about there. And if you want to see the before and after, just tap on the screen and it gives you that. Alright, we'll tick that, we'll hit export, and we'll hit save, modify. Okay, so that is my picture done. I'm pretty happy with that. It looks nice. So next thing I would do is I would upload it to Instagram. So let's go back, discard, and we're going to just double check recents. There it is there. That's what we've just been working on. And I would hit next, and then I would hit edit. These filter things, I never apply them. I think they're a little bit too strong, and some of them are a little bit kind of gaudy looking. Actually, that one's not too bad. So I always have it on normal, and then but I do go into edit, and I just go back over all the settings just to see if it needs anything. No. Hit done. Contrast, no, it's okay. Structure, again, if you're not too sure what it does, just whack it all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. Okay, doesn't need it. Warmth, saturation, color I don't use. Fade is quite nice if you want to give it that washed out look. I don't think it needs it in this particular pic, so cancel that. But I always go to sharpen and just whack in about 30 there, just to give it that, just to crisp up the edges just a little bit. Then I'll hit done, then I'll hit next, and then I will write what I need to write, tag what I need to tag, blah blah blah, put the hashtags in, and I will post it. And that is pretty much all I do. Alright, so there you go guys, that is it from the initial capture right up to uploading it onto Instagram. There's no big secrets there, like I said. The apps I use, just again to reiterate, is Snapseed, and Snapseed is the one for the bulk of the correction, the brightness of it, the contrast, and if I want to add any little filters and effects to it, I use lens distortion. All really good apps. The Snapseed I believe is free, I'm not too sure, but the lens distortion, I think it's like £2 a month or something like that. But yeah, double check, it's all on the App Store. Alright, so yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to do is get better images, be a better photographer, put better images onto Instagram, so it's a little bit more, people that are subscribed to it, it's easier on your eye, it's something you want to look at. I'm trying not to do sort of throwaway shots now, which I was probably guilty of doing in the past, just uploading. So I take time, I take 3 or 4 different shots, and I judge each one, and I put the best one of a particular shoot, and I upload that. So really, people have inspired me to do it that way. I mean, certainly Peter McKinnon, I'm sure you've heard of, is a massive YouTuber, a fantastic photographer, and has great tips on how to really push the quality of your Instagram, really ramp up the quality of it so it looks fantastic. He's a massive influence, and yeah, so hopefully you got something from that. Thanks to the guy who asked the question. Again, it's a good idea for videos to share, and I'll see you all really soon. Take it easy guys. Adios. Bye.